We started a family at a very young age. We actually bought a house when we were 21 and we have a baby at 23. Hi, I'm Nisa. I'm 23. I'm turning 24 this year. This is my husband and this is my baby Inai. She's 4.5 months old.
My name is Ze Xiang and I'm also 24 this year.
I think after working for like a couple months, we were like, let's get married. Yeah, so I think we both were working. You started work in February of 2021, and then every month you would just like save your entire paycheck, right? He barely spent any money, so he would just like save his entire paycheck. I was fresh out of poly at 20, and I immediately started working after circuit breaker. And during COVID, we couldn't have a huge wedding, so it was just nice. We just had a small little wedding, and then my parents were like, okay, go get married.
Everything was cheaper during COVID, so just nice.
Yeah, it was just nice. So we could afford a wedding, we could afford to get married. My parents have always been okay with like interracial marriages as long as the person is willing to explore my religion, which is Islam. He converted like a couple months.
Converted like 3 months into it, like dating her.
Yeah, but I told him he didn't need to convert that early, but he actually had interest in the religion, so.
Yeah.
We did not tell his parents that we were getting married until like 1 month,
I dropped the
2
bomb.
months, yeah.
But my mother didn't approve of her religion and race. After like we went out for dinner a few times, then my parents actually saw her character and personality. Yeah.
They opened up lah, yeah, and I'm really appreciative for that.
They warmed up.
But they didn't know we were getting married lah. They were just like, one day, remember we were sitting at the car park and then we just parked our bike and then he was like, he had a notebook and he was like, oh my god, how do I tell my parents that we're getting married? And then we wrote down like
I wrote down a bunch of possibilities and what can happen from then on. But then I just stepped in the house and like, I want to get married. Then they were like,
The plan was to actually rent a room for like the first year or so while waiting for like BTO or like SBF. But instead of renting out, we actually ended up living with our in-laws, my in-laws, which is his parents, yeah. And during that time, we tried to look for sales of balance flats because it's cheaper and you can get it more immediately. But we couldn't get a queue number. Like it was very overwhelming, right? The response.
It's very hard to get a queue number.
Yeah.
A proper queue number.
So we decided to go towards resale. We initially thought that we could only afford a 3-room flat because we were only 21 at the time. We just started our full-time jobs and I guess we just didn't think that we would be able to afford a 4-room flat. After we spoke to my property agent, she did the calculations and she actually made us realize that with our salaries as well as the government grants, we could actually purchase a 4-room flat. And we actually came upon this house. It was listed at 450k exactly. And then when we went in, it was actually in a really bad condition. It's about 18 years old. My property agent was like just saying that this house is not really in great condition, so I'm gonna ask for a cheaper price. So yeah, we actually managed to secure the deal.
Nego.
Yeah, we negotiated and secured the deal. We were earning a certain amount, so we got about like 80 to 90k of grants total if you combine the enhanced CPF housing grant and the family grant. Initially when we got the house, we actually had to top up every month because our CPF was not enough to cover the loan amount. But ever since we got the house, he got promoted and I changed jobs and now our salaries are enough to cover the 1.4k. So I guess that's where the planning comes in. Honestly, we didn't plan to have a little princess so early. For context, I was 23 when I found out I was pregnant. And it was like a completely random pregnancy test situation. I felt so tired, and then I really didn't actually think I would be pregnant. You know, like girls, we just be like taking pregnancy tests, like, let's just check. And then, when I looked at the pregnancy stick, it was like 2 lines. I was like, what? I had to Google like 100 times just to make sure that I was really pregnant. And I was like,
what, like 6 different pregnancy test kits?
We sat in the sofa, I remember, for hours, like watching videos on YouTube about like pregnancy and like having a child, because we were like,
we knew nothing. Even though she's in...
I'm a preschool teacher.
Yeah, but we knew nothing.
We managed to figure it out, the open-mindedness, the advice coming from families, from friends.
Google.
Google.
YouTube,
Google. It helped a lot. And then when she came along, it was a huge shift in your mindset. We used to have a lot of nightlife. Like we always go out late at night, ride our motorbike together. Like we both have our own motorbikes, so we would ride, go home at like 5-6 a.m. Like our days would just be like lazing around at home. We'll wake up like super late, that kind of thing. Like really just teenager lifestyle. And I think it's very worth it lah. Like we love her so much. She's so cute. I think juggling work, it's doable, but I think it's also got to do with our jobs. I'm a preschool teacher and he's a chef. We have very simple jobs. Like, he just goes to work and cooks, and I just go to work and teach.
Cook, done.
Yeah.
Go home.
And then by the time I finish, like, it's not past 5 or 6. I'm also in uni actually. I'm taking my part-time degree as well. So I have about classes like a couple days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. and I also have assignments to do. And I think that's where having a very supportive partner comes into play, because like he is very, very like hands-on with the baby, and he also cleans the house and he cooks. So it takes a lot of weight off my shoulders because it's usually the mom doing everything, but I don't feel that way at all in my household. Yeah, I think it's really partnership. I think it's very hard to do this if you are not in a very good partnership with one another. Hey everyone, I wanted to introduce my baby girl, Inaya Chin. Her Chinese name is Chen Yuna. I don't know how to pronounce it, I'm still learning. When I was pregnant, I had a lot of time to myself, and I thought that it would be pretty beneficial to like post content about my baby, about myself and my journey. But when I was pregnant, I really couldn't bring myself to post videos like about my pregnancy because I was just dead out of it. I was so sick and like I had a really tough pregnancy. Like after I gave birth, I had like so much more energy, and I realized that we were doing things a lot differently from how traditionally how I know of my friends or other people are doing it. A lot of my friends who gave birth, they got helpers, or like their mother-in-law or their mother is always helping, and I realized that I'm literally just doing it by myself with my husband. So I thought that like, you know, I could share a little bit more about like how I do it. Simple things like little hacks that you can do, because people are always wanting to give baby warm milk and stuff like that, but I think a lot of people don't know you can actually just give baby milk from the fridge like cold, like it doesn't affect anything. So like, you know, it's these simple things that I've been sharing and people are like, oh, you know, I could be not troubling myself so much. Like I think for now my goal, I guess, is to like document my journey in motherhood and like my baby's growth as well as our family. I think it's very nice to look back on as well. In a way, I'm still finding myself. I have a very small following so it's not really like a lot. I'm just doing it for fun. I think it's definitely like a concern when you put your family and your child online for everybody to see. Okay, but like those comments who are like really, really derogatory or like really inappropriate, I would just delete lah. Like especially if it's like slurs or like
insulting and offensive food.
Especially if you comment about my child. So far I haven't, like I'm very thankful. I think I haven't gotten like a single negative comment like about her face or like her in general. But if I do, like in order to protect her, I'll just delete the comment. But for myself, if it's like towards me or to my husband, I'll just be like, I'll just leave it there. I think the one that gets to me was when like there was an article about us. There was actually a few articles about like how we are very young and we got a house. And then in Facebook, people on Facebook are just a different breed lah.
Wow, Facebook
just
crazy, man.
Yeah, they all were like so mean and they were just like assuming that we use our parents' money. And they were just like saying like, don't need to show off, like you're just using your parents' money. And it was just, I think it wasn't like insulting, it was in a way very frustrating because like I worked so hard. Like we worked so hard to get where we are now. Like we started working so young and like we gave up a lot of things to our jobs and stuff. And to get those kind of comments, I guess it's just super, super frustrating, infuriating. Like just don't assume that we come from well-to-do backgrounds. We were both FAS kids. Like if you all know what that is, then
EZ-Link card.
Yeah. Like you know, when you're in primary school, you get $5 in your EZ-Link card every day to buy food. Secondary school also, that kind of thing. Like we didn't come from very well-to-do families. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this video helped anybody who intends to go on the same journey as us. Remember, like partnership is really important, and yeah, do what makes you happy. Bye.